What's going on, everyone? So at the end of episode 4, we saw Tabitha sitting with Jim, talking and kind of filling him in. Henry, as well as Tabitha, have both returned to Fromville. Well, Henry is a first-timer. Tabitha has returned to Fromville. But you can imagine there's going to be a lot of blowback. There's going to be a lot of aftermath that is going to take place, very likely this episode, as well as maybe even kind of bleeds into further episodes. Gonna, at some point, I'd imagine, have the encounter with Henry as well as Victor. I'm curious to see if they do that this episode, right? If that's something that they dive into immediately, or if it's something that they kind of get to maybe in a follow-up episode, right? But I don't see that these two's presence in Fromville is just going to be brushed under the rug, right? You're going to have some kind of aftermath. You're going to have the townspeople have a specific type of reaction to this. You know, obviously, again, you have a character that got out and came back. So there's proof in her that you can get out. There is proof in her that, hey, there is a way. And so you're already seeing, based on a little teaser trailer that we got for the upcoming episode, some of that information. Nothing really major spoilerish. But I know some people don't want any information, any details in that regard. So if you want to click off, I completely understand. I don't know anything. I'm not one of those people that saw this series already ahead of time. No, I am watching it in real time like all of you. So this is just my opinions. These are just my thoughts that I'm going to jump into. And of course, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. However, if you're somebody that wants to click off right now because you don't want to hear any insight, again, it's nothing real spoilerish. It's just kind of the town's reaction that I'm going to talk about because we got that in the little teaser trailer because it ties into what I want to talk about with Tabitha. So now's your chance. Again, on the way out, hit that like button and let's go. So the town you see in the little teaser trailer having their, what you would expect, a reasonable reaction, in my opinion. You have the town basically going like, what are we waiting for? Let's go to the tree. Let's jump in. Let's go have the boy in white push us all off the top, essentially, right? Like, and you have the town responding because they see, right? Again, Tabitha is there. You can see her. She got out. She came back. But they're not looking at the full picture here. They're not looking at all the details and all the circumstances based on what we gather from the little teaser trailer, right? Now, Boyd, in that little trailer, is trying to kind of, corral everybody and keep things down. They have a little town meeting kind of going over what they should or shouldn't do and all that. But the problem with it is again, you're seeing Tabitha leave, but you're not focusing on her being back. Why is she back? How did she get back? She didn't come back on her own. It's not like she opened a door that she can open again and it's just like, yeah, I can take you all out and now we can go back. No, she ended up back because of Fromville, right? So yes, all these people, they might be able to get out, but for how long? For minutes? For hours? For days? Now you're right back, and you could be right back in a position where you're dead to rights. I mean, Tabitha came back and her and everybody on the ambulance almost didn't make it, right? Like, the monsters were there and had her surrounded. They just decided to mess with Boyd rather than just going full in on the people on the ambulance. So, again, like, the entire town, yeah, they might get out for an hour. Fromville brings them all back, and they're right in the middle of all the monsters ready to just slaughter, right? Like, you have no idea what and how it's going to happen. Also, you don't know, like, Tabitha had to be pushed out by the boy in white. What happens if the boy in white doesn't want to help anyone else? She was on a mission. She was on her way to go and do what she had to do, and that's how she was able to get out. That's how she was able to escape, right? Like, you don't know if that is a path for everybody. And in the same breath, you do understand that, these people are in a place of hell, right? Like, they're panicked. They're worried. They want to get out, right? That's the whole point. That's the whole purpose. And they're probably, a lot of them are probably looking at it as like, like that, like, at least trying is better than nothing. Like, what's our alternative? Just sit here and do nothing, right? They're all kind of looking at it as like, we'd rather go and make a move rather than wait around and it's just a matter of time before we're monster meat, right? But patience is the key here, right? That also could be one of the reasons why maybe Fromville brought Tabitha back to further break the town, further cause this rift in the town. Because, again, all the townspeople are freaking out. All the townspeople are losing their minds because they all just witnessed and saw Tabitha escape and come back. So now you're going to have people, I would imagine, again, I don't know this for certain, but I'd imagine there's probably going to be a couple people that go and try to find that tree. Probably going to be a couple people that end up, meeting their end one way or another by trying to attempt that. I could even see some of these people potentially walking through some of those other trees, right? Because there's several faraway trees in which that people go into and you could end up in completely different places, right? Like I could see some of these characters potentially ending up in who knows where, stuck in trees, stuck in dungeons, stuck in whatever, which could be an interesting kind of route and make for a very interesting episode to kind of see where all these people, maybe you get a handful of people that all just try to take the chance and they all end up in other places and never seen or heard from again, which also could further add fuel to the fire. Right? Because, let's say 5 people end up venturing off and you don't hear or see from them again. What if it's how do we know they didn't get out? Right? Maybe they got out. That's why we haven't seen them back. Right? Like Tabitha, we all thought Tabitha was dead. Guess what? She's not. She's here. She's prime, ready to go. Let's go back to the tree. Right? There is going to be a clear aftermath. There's going to be a clear effect that this is going to have on the town, as well as Tabitha, right? More so than anything, I really do think that this is going to take a toll on Tabitha in several ways, right? Obviously, one, her failing the mission, her being in the real world with trying to figure out that, find that other bottle tree, try to get the answers, on top of her, trying to just gather all the clues and save the children. And now she's back. How did she get back? Why did she get back? Was it the town? Was it the boy in white? Right? Because you can make an argument that the boy in white did it to help her because she had a mission. She clearly failed the mission. And who knows what would have happened because she was in that ambulance with the cop and they knew that she ran earlier and they've been trying to track her down. They've been trying to find, because she's been missing for all this time, right? She was stuck. They're not letting her go. She's not going to be able to go check no trees or nothing. So why not bring her back to Fromville so she can start again? And you even see in the little trailer that she goes back to the bottle tree, that she goes back to that tree. Now, does she go to try to enter it again? Does she try to go to, see if she can replicate what she did? I don't know if she'll do that this episode, but you got to imagine that she's probably going to try at some point. Right? You got to imagine at some point she's going to want to enter it again. Does she actually get out this time, though? Or does she get to the tower? Maybe the boy in white isn't there this time. Or maybe her mission is to do something else. Maybe she was meant to go into the real world and come back. What if she was meant to bring Henry? Right? There's a lot of different ways that this could go. There's a lot of different thoughts and approaches that they could take with Tabitha. But the other side of things is you got to imagine her just... the fact that she got out back in town, everyone kind of losing their mind, the shock, I was free, I was trying to, there's several ways that she is, her psyche is probably just being attacked. Just her internal struggle, her internal frustrations, her thoughts and opinions, right? And that's why I think you see Jade with her, kind of helping her and talking to her and looking at the bottles and reading notes and stuff, right? You see him kind of trying to, I would imagine, use logic and just kind of be a confidant for her, somebody that she can talk to, somebody that kind of worked through her stuff. You got to imagine it's probably incredibly emotional for her, incredibly stressful for her, right? She had a mission, she didn't complete it, right? Now if you're her, what do? Do you try again? How do you know it won't? How do you know this time it won't end differently? Can you even try again? Was that kind of your one chance, your one shot? All the other chosen ones were dead, right? Do you go and try to gather more information before you go try again? Do you try to, the fact that you didn't make it to that original bottle tree and that's where you're heading, gotta imagine that that's dwelling on her and that's on her mind. There's going to be a real aftermath. There's going to be a real sort of impact to not only Tabitha, but to clearly the town and several others, right? Like everybody's going to want to get out at that point. Everyone's going to want to see, like, how do we know that none of us are chosen? How do we know that, we can't save the children? How do we know that we can't get to the tower and get out, right? Like, even if we get out for a week or a day or a year, like, it's better than nothing. That gives us a day, a year, a week for just of peace, for not having to worry about monsters eating us, right? Like, there's a million ways that you can kind of justify it. But I am very curious to see how the blowback and the aftermath is going to take place, because that it's going to be impactful in this episode. That that's going to be a real driving point in this episode of just, how does it impact her? How does it impact the town? And how does it look going forward? What moves does she make? How does she approach this? How does she look at it? I'm going to be very curious to see. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of them kind of focusing on the town and kind of that blowback and that aftermath? Do you think that, Tabitha's really going to deal with some struggles? She's really going to deal with some just internal just emotions and stuff that she's going to have to deal with? Do you want her to try again? Do you want to see kind of various people in the town all maybe try and fail and see what kind of different locations they end up and kind of predicaments they end up, right? Like, there's a lot of kind of interesting ways that they can approach this and go about it. But what are your overall thoughts on her getting out and now returning? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.